Hey, welcome to another episode of Straight from the Desk. This time we will do something slightly different. We will not cover the whole miniature with every part, but we will just focus on one part, the metallic parts. I think this model is really nice because of the quite visible basic geometrical shapes. They're quite easy to spot and you can really place your highlights quite easy on that. I think it's also really cool to show real metallics on a larger surface like that, because that is always a special challenge. You need to think not only of what would be reflected, but you also need to think about the gloss difference of the shadows and the reflective highlights. Okay, so for the start of the figure, of like how to come up with a color concept, it's quite nice to actually imagine one day that figure would be portrayed. So this really forces you to think of an environment that would be reflective, and that also gives you a nice little guideline actually through your color mixes. So here in our case we decided to go for something like a desert-like environment that would be reflected in warm brown tones throughout all the colors, including the skin tone and the armor, and also some blue from the sky that would be mainly reflected on the bright reflective metal parts. So yeah, let's see how that starts. Alright, so you can see this time it's a little different. I've painted quite a bit already here. I actually painted that during a private coaching. So we're looking at the real metallic armor, and I think this model is really fantastic because the shapes are clearly visible, and yeah, we will just show you how we start here on the black foundation, just on the arm. We will start with a base tone that is not too bright in the metal finish, so we're going for a satin look that will help us later on to place some prominent and visible highlights. So we'll start with some of the Games Workshop lead belcher, and I like to incorporate colors of the environment, as I said, and for the top part here of the armor, that will definitely reflect some of the blue sky of the earth, so we'll mix it with some of the turquoise from model color. And it's quite nice if you already mix it in the base tone compared to glazes, because that way you have a more like a little bit stronger covering look that is more opaque, and it's quite nice to really get that nice gloss transition. So we'll place our main highlights first, a little bit bigger than the top reflex. Might add a little bit more blue. Okay, and we will follow with like the placement of the lights. We will follow the guide for non-metallic metal painting as well. So that round object here needs also a round highlight, and if you take a look at the whole shape, you want to try to continue the highlight here on the upper side as well. Okay, and here to the side we will add some of the model color black to get a darker yet bluish tint. A little bit more. And you can see also, you saw it on the model, consistency wise we're quite thick, so something like a medium base tone. And we'll just use that base tone here, more in the shadow area. And with more black just here also in the base mix. I think for real metallics it's quite important to still pay attention to the placement, to a controlled placement of lights, because overall you just want to achieve a convincing atmosphere, and that's also why I like to incorporate the colors of the environment to get that little bit of a more reflective look. And this here up here went a little too dark, so I'm just correcting it with a wet brush. You can see we can already get like a nice shift in the tones here with the black, and also it's a little bit matter here towards the side. Okay, so I'm just taking some of that dark tone here, some of that black base tone, and placing it really in the shadows. Okay, we'll continue in the same manner here on the upper side, so a little darker here, a little darker to the side. Even darker here, down here. Okay, same to the other side, starting a bit lighter and a bit more blue here, and quite a bit darker here. Okay, so so far so good. For the rest of the strong highlights, we just have to keep in mind that they follow the shape of the object. So here we have those nice cylinder, and here a cone. So I will place the base color first before we go to the strong highlights. So just following the shapes of the objects, but I think you pretty much got where this goes, and we'll be back once the colors are in place. Okay. Alright, so you can see the base color with the blue and the slightly darker color are in place. The next thing that we'll do is I tried to really place the highlights and the bluish tints more towards the areas that would reflect the sky. We'll take care now of the strongest highlight, and then introduce colors for the groundwork later on the lower side. Let's take a look here at the arm. So we will start with our blue base tone in the back of the brush, in a lighter consistency, so more in a medium layer consistency, and a bit of the model color air chrome on the tip of the brush. And we will make a little brush here along the line here. And soft it out to the other side as well, using a little bit more pressure, because the paint already dried a little, so we need more pressure to rub it off the surface. Okay, I will use the blow dryer to speed things up a little. Okay, and it might be a little hard to see because now we're using some really reflective paints, but the next paint that we will use is pure chrome, and we will just get that here on our surfaces, the strongest highlight, cleaning the brush and feathering that out. Okay, you can still see we have like a line on the top here, so we have to soft that out, and I will mix a bit of the original base tone of the highlight with some chrome on the palette, because here I can't really pull my brush all that good, and following the non-metal guide as well, the top highlight needs to be softened out equally to both sides on the top. Okay, here, continue along the fingers here. Just a bit of chrome on the tip of the brush. Oops, that was a little too big here for the lower one. Okay, and we will continue with the bright highlight here on the top. It's a little hard to see because actually already with that first highlight in there, it already looks quite metallic. We have to also make sure that the highlight here on the top is a bit wider, just matching the shape of the object. And it needs to continue here. And with a clean brush, I'm just feathering out the chrome. First to one side, then I'll turn it around and also feather it to the other side. Part the highlights here are quite more prominent, and I will just continue like that also, just to show you here a bit here on the top. Okay, trying to establish that round highlight, and then with a bit of the highlight color, I'm just wet blending it here together. Same on the other side, a bit of the fresh chrome. And just blending that out. Okay, I will continue with those highlights, and we'll be back once that is done. I think maybe the top here is quite interesting still with the bright reflex. So I might just do that here on cam. Here, because of the position of the arm, our highlight is here slightly towards the front. You can see I've attached the arm again to the armor to also check if the position is correct, and I've also continued here a little on the glove. So yeah, let's continue. At the moment now we already have like a very nice strong metallic look, and you can see when you turn the figure around, the highlights stay more or less at the spot where we painted them, and you have that impact of the blue, and yeah, it's already actually quite a nice metallic look, but we want to push it a little further, and now we want to introduce the horizontal reflection. So for the horizontal reflection we will take some of that base tone here with a little bit of blue in there, and we will use that this time lighter, so more like a medium layer consistency. And maybe it's even a bit thinner, and we'll use that here to get like a second highlight. And here again it follows the shape. We have the strongest highlight here, and just at the middle line of the object we will sketch in the highlight for our horizontal reflection. And you can see I'm building up the color here until to the middle line, just pulling the pigments down so they gather here at the horizontal line. And we really want to keep the blue just on the upper side of our transition. Okay, and as well here on, we need to do that to all the parts, so also here. And you can actually see the moment it's already here on the second plate, it makes a lot more sense. It's like a continuous highlight. We have actually the same highlight here. Maybe it's a little bit too bright for how much it's facing downwards. Okay, so now we have the second light. We still want to incorporate like the color of the groundwork, and okay, and we will mix some of that pale camo brown from Model Air with some black and some of the lead belcher to get like a dark brown metallic tone. As we tinted down our highlights with pure black, they're quite a bit matter, so once we add the highlight, or the back reflection with the brown metallic, you will see it appears quite a bit brighter. So we'll place that just directly into the shadows. Okay, and now a bit thinner. It's more like a medium glaze, and I'll use that to soft out the transition to both sides. Okay, and with a bit more of the light camo brown, fix that here to the side. A bit more of the light camel brown. We will just increase the contrast a bit. Just here along the line. And also here along the middle. You usually don't look at the miniature like that, so but you can see once you have it here, like more in the position how you would look at the model, it becomes a lot more natural. We've decided to take like that nice earth-like brown, because he's supposed to be standing in like a desert-like environment, and we just want to incorporate those tones. But you can see really nice like how it's starting to get into shape. I'll use some of the pure brown, just in a very light consistency, like a light glaze. Just glaze here over the shadow parts. And we try to keep the brown on the lower side of our horizontal transition. And you can see here on this side, for example, we have also some of the burgundy tones reflected from the book. That's also something we need to incorporate here on the top. Okay, now for the red reflection of the book. It's burgundy tone, and you can see on the palette of some of the model color flat red, some dark sea blue, and we're mixing a nice burgundy tone from that. So we'll take some of the burgundy tone and mix it with a bit of the lead belcher to get like a burgundy metallic tone, and to place it here towards the book. Just a bit, clean the brush and feather it out. And yeah, it's quite nice because you have that feeling that it actually really reflects the color like a metallic surface would do. So we'll use the same tone here also on that edge. It's hardly visible, but just if you look in there, it will give you that slight red impact from the reflection of the book. Okay, so you can actually see quite nice how you have those horizontal elements here, the highlight from the horizon, the highlight here from the sun, and the brown back reflection here on the lower side. Okay, so I think I will continue like that on the upper part of the arm, and yeah, we'll be back once that step is completed, and I will show you a very simple way of how to do the trimmings here on the side, and then we are ready for some rust. Okay, so we have the brown established here on the lower side, and you can also see like the horizontal reflection here now on the lower side, and the brown here. I'll introduce a bit of the brown there, and just take some of that brown to do like that upper edge here. And we're just taking it in the tip of the brush and feathering it in there. Okay, once that is dry, it should look really nice and matte with a slight warm impact. Okay, but you can see how now the metallic surface is really brought to life, just also having the contrast between the warm brown tone and the blue. So yeah, we'll let that dry and we'll be back for first the trims and then some rust. Okay. I've added some colors to the palette. Here's my all-time favorite, the Alma Brown, and we'll mix that with the lead belcher here, and a bit of black to the side. And we'll start with that dark tone. Quite heavy, so like a heavy base layer, and we'll use that here for the trimmings. Actually, just from the color setup we discussed before quite a bit what color those could be, and it's like the natural fantasy reflex goes towards a gold, but we wanted to have like a more grim, even more realistic color setup, and so we decided to just go for a slightly different color metal tone with also a chrome highlight. And the brown really ties nicely together with the pale Alma Brown that we've with the pale Camo Brown that we've used before on the other parts in the silver metallics. So I think that would just go together nicely. We'll also paint the whole thing here in the same tone. A bit of black. I'm introducing the shadows here. This is like a wet blending. Okay. And yeah, let me just continue with that base tone, and we'll be back once the base tone is in place. Okay, the paint is dry, and I will use some of the Army Painter Strong Tone, pure undiluted out of the pot, and we'll apply that first here in the shadow area. So a little bit here. Then with the clean brush I will just push it here into the edge, clean off that harsh border, and also get rid of these borders here. Some clean water, and we'll continue here applying the strong tone around the borders. Not too much, just here to increase the mattness and also to give some shadow. That way we will also have like our small cracks and crevices really nicely dark lined as well. Okay, plenty here in the shadow areas. And also here underneath the dark trim. Okay, and we'll give that a minute to dry, and then we're back for the highlights. So highlight here. Okay, so you can see the highlight now is quite harsh, so we're just taking some of the base tone, the chrome, and blending that out. Okay, and we will just use some of the chrome and mix it here on the side to get like a highlight tone, and we will just use the side of the brush to just get a nice highlight here along the edge or along the raised bits. Okay, a bit darker here to the side. And a bit of the chrome here just on the tip for get the main highlights here in the middle. We're just using stippling to introduce like smaller dots of light. And also here are some small highlights on the cuts. I think that looks already pretty good. I will just use some pure almond brown to get like a stronger brownish impact here to the side and some of the shadows. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I will continue also here with some of the amber brown here in the shadows and also on the back of the model, and we'll be back for some rust. So here we are. You can see I've just continued a little with the gold, just to see how everything looks here together painted. One thing that is still missing is the rust, and we will do that with a really nice color that I discovered. It's the orange rust from Secret Weapons, and it's just fantastic to get the rust here from metallic surfaces like that. So let's see, let's just start here, and For us, it's always important to think of how the object would be stored and stand for most of its time. So here around the rivets, you can see I have just almost water in the back of the brush. It's almost clean, and I just put a little bit of color on the tip of the brush. That way I can just directly place it here and feather it out. That way I can really create nice leaking rust stains. Okay, we let that dry. You can see with the same method, just paint in the back of the brush, water in the back of the brush and paint in the tip. You can get like a real nice gradient of rust. Like as if the water would have just gathered here and dried there. Same here. And also like in some of those prominent cracks. And also a little bit here on the armor itself. It's quite nice to play with the rust in it, but it's also easy to get carried away a little, so just apply it carefully bit by bit and make it really match according to the story that you want to tell. So this guy has really beaten armor, so I think a little rust is okay. Okay, also a little in here. Just place it, clean the brush, and feather it out a bit. So a little here. And I'm just pulling it a little bit here into the recess so it can gather there. It looks more natural. Okay. I think that's already good for the upper part of the armor. Maybe just a little down here. Here I think the graph would rather stand like this. It's laying, so just glazing it in that direction. As I said, don't overdo it. I might just do a little bit I'll just do a little bit here. Also the rust is quite nice to balance the composition a bit. If you have like highlights that are too strong and you want to compensate the ones here and get a little bit of interest happening down there, something like rust is quite a nice alternative. Okay, so I think that's it. You can see also here the side element here is quite weathered, so I might need to increase that here on that side. Now it matches quite a lot better. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little tip of how to paint real metallic armor, and yeah, thanks for supporting me, and see you with the next video.